Action.
Rolling.
Rolling.
There's nothing actually rolling.
There's nothing rolling. Yeah. Except your fucking eyes.
Yeah, right. Right. Click, click, click.
What's good, you creeps?
As you can tell, unscripted. Unscripted podcast. Fucking 85% of your stuff is about murder.
About murder. That's fair. Because our listeners love fucking murder. Hit them up with the Gmail.
You can send us an email with your suggestions, comments, or concerns at basedontrueeventspodcast@gmail.com.
Boom. That was good. I literally heard like the loudest gulp. Gulp?
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Fuck. Dude, I need the universe to calm the fuck down for a little bit.
Chill out for us a little bit.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but
I don't know if I see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I saw something funny the other day where it was like I keep hearing everybody say like when quarantine's over, or like when COVID's over and I can do this, and they're like, doesn't it kind of sound like those whenever people are like, when I win the lottery, like it's never gonna fucking happen.
Never.
Like we're just in.
Dreaming.
We're just in. This is the world now.
That's all right. It's okay to have dreams.
It is. But I did see the other day that Google.
Oh shit.
The Grand Emperor Google.
Yeah.
Has told all of its employees that no one will return to the workplace until the summer of 2021 at the absolute earliest.
Wow. Wait, so that they laid everybody off, or people are working from home?
Yeah, they're all working.
I mean, it's
from
Google.
Home. Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah, and so one of the most brilliant things that I've ever heard is like when it comes to shit like this, like always pay attention to what the people who have information are doing, like how they're going about things.
What would Google do?
Yeah, like Google, I mean, they are housing all of the information that has been collected throughout the course of human history.
Right.
If they're saying that they're not bringing their employees back to the office until the summer of 2021 for safety reasons, maybe that's something we need to look at.
Take a hint from Google.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
not to stay on this topic.
No, okay.
But I saw this fucking picture. This guy, he had like the lace thong on his face.
Oh god,
as
like a mask. Oh Jesus.
And then on his shirt it said something like, masks are not about safety or health, they're about submission and obedience or some shit. And I was like, hold on, there's a reason that every doctor and every surgeon on the planet wears a mask. Like they obviously are about health and protection. So please show your math. Like, I want to see your equation.
Also, you're wearing panties on your face, dude.
Yeah.
Or a thong.
A thong. Like, maybe you're not the faucet of information that you think, you know. I'm like, just like, dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to anything that dude says.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm in a weird spot with all of it now. Like, I know that, like, you know, I've been touting the mask, and I believe that. Like, I think that people should wear the mask. I think if anything, if it just makes other people comfortable, then that's a good thing. You know, protect your neighbor, protect your family. Even though it's for sure proven that
100% proven
that it does help people.
It's factual.
But my thing is like, dude, there's a lot of like weird like conspiracy theory things going out, and you know me, like I don't fucking like.
Well, you're interested
foster,
in them, but you don't.
Yeah, I don't foster that like that conspiracy theory thing. But there was one that like kind of like twinged. I sent it to you earlier. They kind of like twinged like some of my wait a minute buttons, and then I kind of like my brain started doing the thing it does where it's like starting to put pieces together, and it's like trying to like,
well, that makes sense.
Well,
but
if you do this, then why would you do this? And like it's like, you know, kind of building the pieces.
Basically, it was he sent me a I don't know where you found it, but something that's saying that
the Q fever.
The Q fever, right? Which a lot of the
it's all the symptoms.
It's all the symptoms
of the coronavirus.
Right.
It's just it supposedly comes from another
animals.
Well, I mean,
so does
right. But coronavirus is supposedly an avian based issue, whereas the Q fever is supposedly land based animals.
Right. It was like horses and shit.
Horses
right?
and livestock. And but I didn't know this. This is so malaria, right? That's where that hydrochloroquine medicine that they threw at us at the beginning, and then Trump keeps throwing at us. And
now that demon seed woman.
Yeah. So so I didn't know this, but that's a malaria. Like I knew that it was a malaria, like what they prescribe for people who are dealing with malaria. It's also a medicine that they prescribe for people with autoimmune diseases. Like I think lupus is one of them and shit like that.
Damn.
So, but I didn't know is that they also prescribe it for Q fever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I was like, so I saw this thing about the Q fever, and I did some reading. And by the way, if you type in Q fever, like the name Q fever, it doesn't auto-populate on Google. Like you gotta do some searching,
do some digging.
Gotta do some digging. And so I had that kind of going on in the back of my head, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is where this hydrochloroquine comes into the equation. Like, why are we going from malaria to this? And like, so there was some interesting parallels, and then my brain got working overtime on some conspiracy theories, which I'm not willing to share on the podcast.
Right. Well, like, so but I don't know what I think about the Q fever that you sent. I mean, it's interesting, and that was my response, because it is, and there's a lot of similarities. When it boils down to it, it hurts my brain, to be honest with you. And so I'm still sticking with the nobody really knows. And that's, to me, what is just daunting.
I agree.
And so I'm like, I'm confusing myself more with other theories.
So
I'm not trying to play the ignorance is bliss thing, but I'm just
just to play devil's advocate for one more minute. So I was reading that book Chaos about Charles Manson. I told you about it. I loved the book. I thought it was amazing. And this is coming from a man who I fucking don't give a shit about Charles Manson. Never understood like why everybody. Like
the hype. I hate to say the hype
behind it. Yeah. But after reading this book, I'm like, oh, I mean, now I kind of see some reasons why people dig into this case.
Right.
Okay. But the guy who wrote the book tells a very interesting story about how they will, like, when they do these like Freedom of Information Act releases, they release a shit ton of documents. And the hope is that it takes so long for people to kind of filter through it that they just kind of give up before they get to like the one page that's actually like a newsbreaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it like in layman's terms, it'll take 12 people 2 years to filter through all these documents. And there's 1 or maybe 2 pages of all of these documents that's actually has a morsel of information that could break a case.
Right.
And even with that, you'd have to do a shit ton more work and like blah, 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 blah. So I find that interesting with things like this. That's where my like conspiracy theory shit works.
That's where your brain goes. Yeah.
Is because I know that if like nobody's perfect. So if there's a conspiracy out there, that they usually fuck up on things like, you know, payroll or inventory manifests or, shit that people don't like think about getting rid of.
Right.
They're like, oh, we got to get this person to lie and that person has to do this and this person has to do that. And it always boils down to, it's like somebody's secretary.
Yeah.
Like they were on the payroll and they went on vacation with one dude.
Oh, damn it.
And now there's a fucking link. And
Right.
It's always some shit like that.
The secretary.
So anyway, I digress. I found it very interesting that a very hard to locate virus with similar issues and similar
symptoms
and things like that. And it keyed my brain working on questions.
It piqued your interest. Yeah.
I don't know, interest. It's like if you get that fucking the popcorn kernel stuck in your tooth and then you just spend like the whole day like trying to loosen it with your tongue and
instead of just brushing your
it's not
teeth.
Interesting.
No, it's not.
It's aggravating.
It's aggravating. Yeah,
but
true.
like you can't stop. Like that's how my brain works. Everything is a popcorn kernel.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Welcome to my nightmare.
Your life is torture.
Welcome to my nightmare. Yeah.
This is my life.
I don't know any different though.
It's a horrible analogy for life.
Well, I don't know any different. So, I mean, it's kind of status quo for me.
Right.
Everybody else would be like, God, I'm going to blow my brains out.
You're like, nah.
And like, this is just a Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Fine. It's fine. It'll probably all be fine.
Oh, Jesus. That's funny. It is interesting. So we'll see, I guess.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm not a virologist. I don't hold any higher degrees in
I'm not an ologist of any kind.
Yeah, of any pathogens or like I don't know anything. I just look at the questions.
Just look at the questions and then
start asking.
Then questions. Send me a text that gets my brain overloading, and then I just come to you and you explain it all.
Yeah. I love when I send you something and you're just like, there's nothing. And I'm like, well, this is what this means and this is why this is important. And, it's like, then I chase you down like my smoke signals and you're like, okay, well, now I understand why you sent it, but you sent me 2 pictures with no explanation. And I don't know.
What is this?
I don't understand.
I know. I found that we know each other so well that usually our text can figure it out, but we text so much sometimes that I'll reference something like 2 hours ago, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And you'll send me a screen capture, and like this dick, and I'm like, "Oh, right, sorry, I forgot."
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. We do change gears rather often in conversation. So
that's true, we do. Well,
30 minutes down.
30 minutes down. I honestly was like, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about in the opener here. So, I mean, I'm glad you had all that shit on your mind because, hey,
that was like 5 seconds of what's going on in my head.
Just a taste.
Yeah, just a taste.
That's all we want. Yeah. Most people are like, I can't handle what's going on in your head, dude. If that's just a fucking sample, I don't know.
No.
I'll pass on that flick.
Yeah. I love it when people are like, I know you think you explained something, but you didn't.
But you didn't.
You haven't even gotten close.
Like, in my brain, it
all made sense here.
Right.
I figured if I told you blue on Tuesday, you would know exactly what I was talking about.
That's right. Well, if you want to hear more of the troublesome brain of Shep, more about the troublesome brain of Shep,
I think I'm just gonna lock myself in like a fucking cage for a couple years until I sort some shit out.
Well, until then, we're going to sit here and we're going to keep talking about it. So hit us up at thebotepodcast.com.
That's right.
And
that's our main hub.
That's our hub. That's the website.
That's the website.
Where we want you guys to go and pop your email in there so we can send you some cool shit and we can communicate that way.
Yep.
Especially if you're not on social media.
Yeah, you want to track down old episodes of us. You want to check down the current episodes when they drop. You want some bios on Josh and myself.
Yeah.
Long walks in the park and. I'm not long.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
I'm not long. Well, the bio thing.
Yeah, like I'm winded.
I'm out, motherfucker.
Short walks to the refrigerator.
Short walks to the remote control.
Or to the couch. Right.
That my kid threw across the room.
Right.
So.
But yeah, so hit up the website. Of course, we've got our social media sites,
which you can reach from our main hub.
That's very true.
You can interact with us on our main hub. You can interact with us on social media. Send us suggestions for episodes. Vote on current suggested episodes.
I love it. The enthusiasm was on point. Speaking of voting, you guys have we put out the first 4
I'm very curious about this
listener suggestions, and between email, pretty much Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, the votes they selected, the top 2 was the
chicken coop
murders and Girl Scout murders. Y'all are some sick fucks.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
I've done zero research on either of these subjects. So,
well, neither have I.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And so right now we've got a post going around where you are supposed to select which one of us does the chicken coop murders.
Yeah.
And obviously whoever you choose, the other person will do the Girl Scout murders.
Yeah. Offline, I want to know who's leading.
Yeah, that's true. And technically, didn't really even think about it, but most likely that decision would have already been made by the time this airs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can fucking tell me.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't tallied up the.
You haven't tallied.
No.
Okay. So if it's not obvious, Josh runs most of our social media.
Unless you don't like it, in which case it's full on Shep.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me if you're pissed.
Don't give a shit. Yeah. Either way. Just interact with us. Mm-hmm. But no, yeah. So I was amazed that they picked those 2 over Waco and Elizabeth Bathory. I think I said that name right. Bethroy.
I don't know. The only one I know anything about is Waco.
Right.
So, and that's because it was on a full cycle on the news when I was a kid. So,
well, right, and there's literally like documentaries and movies and shit. Yeah, so. It's a big one. But I don't think. Well, we've covered a little bit of cults, and I'm actually gonna dabble with some cult ish shit tonight.
All right, cool. I'm going home.
All right, have a good night, man. So this is a solo episode.
Yeah.
I've heard, one time we talked about it, and I think, well, whatever, you couldn't make it. And I was like, well, I guess I'll do a solo episode. And I'm like praying that you said no, because I can't imagine just sitting here fucking talking to myself.
Hello.
So is this on?
Yeah. So.
But anyway,
am I being funny?
Yeah, nobody's laughing. Nobody laughs anyway.
Yeah, we have no laugh track.
And you just like stare at me the whole time.
I'm like, this isn't funny.
Like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
We have, as usual, derailed.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, hit us up. Keep the voting coming. Keep the listener suggestions coming. We are going to do the I Wrote for Boat. We'll send you a free shirt. If your suggestion is the one that is our favorite for the month. So just stay tuned for all that shit. And by the way, we skipped over it, but merch is coming very soon to the website. So another reason to go check out the main hub there.
So I think we've nailed down a provider, a merch provider.
Yeah, knock on wood.
So
we're excited. So a lot of shit going on. We're just trying to up the quality and keep shit moving forward, man. I think we're doing all right too.
Yeah. I would agree.
All right, good shit. You want me to jump into it?
I guess I'm not doing anything.
You don't want
else.
to talk about
I'm
any
not
more
doing anything else.
Depressing theories on what's going to happen for the rest of the
I'll save those for myself. I won't infect the rest of the planet with my brain.
Okay, fair enough. Well, so I'll preface this. Well, I'm not sure how this one's going to go. I changed my topic 4 different times. And then I went back, and then I've decided on my first initial topic. So my head's been kind of all over the place. So I'm not even sure the order I'm going to go with this, but we're just going to get into it and fucking cross our fingers.
Okay.
So I'm going to lean heavily on you and your...
Way to sell this episode, by the way.
Well, if they've made it 17 minutes in, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Because the first 16 minutes were...
Everyone's like, no, I want to hear more about your fucking craziness.
Yeah, like, fuck that episode, dude.
like, tell me about the fucking...
What's going on with Q fever? Yeah, if I can't Google it, how am I supposed to know what it is?
So just maybe tune in for another episode. I don't know. That's going to be our overwhelming suggestion for the next fucking month. Like...
Q fever,
and explain to us what the fuck is happening. Explain to us what is happening.
If somebody suggests like Shep's brain, I'm gonna be so fucking happy.
Dude, it's not. It wouldn't be pleasant. You got some crayons.
All right, so, well, I'll I guess I'll just dive in and we'll see how this shit goes. So I'm going to read some of this from thatslife.com.au. Again,
that's the source of all the news that I use.
it's that's bookmarked for you.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the first thing when I bring up my webpage. It's actually that goes to that.
Well, I did a bunch of research, and there wasn't a ton on this, or essentially there wasn't a ton of different information. Every article, every video, everything that I found pretty much said the same shit. So this was the easiest one for me to spiel and find. Again, that now that I circled back to my first topic. So setting up a new baby monitor. Edward TRDY. I don't know how you're going to have a last name without a fucking
Tiered.
vowel.
Tiered.
Turdy. TRDY. Turdy. All right. Edward Turdy hoped it would help keep his newborn daughter safe. But the video monitor recorded something much worse than his bub's cries.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I already kind of know where this episode's going.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
After accidentally picking up the signal of an identical model in the house next door, Edward saw the image of a naked boy chained and being beaten appear on the screen.
Never mind. No idea where this episode's
Didn't
going.
think so. Sickened to his stomach, he immediately called the cops.
Okay, good.
He had no idea he was living next door to a cult called the Grail Movement.
By the way, good that he called the cops. Not good that this is happening to this poor kid.
Right. But this was the first time I think that we had a story where somebody saw something bad happening and did something.
Yeah, immediately called the police. Like, it's probably fine.
Well, it's my neighbor. Hey,
Neighbors will be
I'll
neighbors.
mind my own business.
Yeah, we have to mow the grass on the same day.
Right. And I'll edit this out for real, but just keep an eye on this. If you look over once in a while, if it stops.
I can't see it. Cool.
Oh, okay. All right, and action.
Yeah.
No, so the Grail Movement. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
That is next door to a cult called the Grail Movement. So I'm gonna skip around. I think. Bear with me. So I don't know. We've done what, the Chintao cult. I think that was the only one that we actually did an entire episode on.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. We've hit
on a few.
We've had like 100 episodes, man.
That's true. We've hit on a few, and you know what's funny? I literally had to go back and look. I feel like I've done this one before, and I had to go back and search. No, it's just that I had researched it at some point. So a little bit about the Grail Movement cult. The German Grail Movement began prior to World War II. Its founder and self-proclaimed messiah, Oskar Ernst Bernhardt, lived in Austria and purchased a large piece of land that he planned to turn into a compound for his followers.
Actually, I have fucking heard of these jerk-offs.
Okay, yeah. He called his religion the Grail Movement and published a book titled In the Light of Truth, which explained all of their beliefs. The Grail Movement, it's like a combination of like New Age and
Occultism.
Christianity. Yeah.
It's like occultism and yeah.
I heard somebody say like millennialism, and I was like, that's an interesting new word for me. But
yeah, you're gonna. Dude, are you drifting into Epstein territory on this one?
No.
Okay.
No, I just want, when I'm reading and I'm going to do a specific story, but when you see that when they mention a cult living next to me, I figured, well, fuck, what cult is that?
Yeah.
And so this is where it led me, so this is where we're going.
Okay, no, you're good. Hey, man, whatever.
Yeah, whatever floats my boat.
I'm just here for the party, bro.
That's right. The Grail here it even said the Grail Movement cult beliefs are a mix of Christianity and New Age with a dash of violence. Even though the cult isn't extremely widespread, its followers have made headlines for things like treating women as slaves, which there was a whole article on this guy who basically, when they say he made the women like build a house, and it was like he made the women build a house of bricks. Like that was like the whole fucking paragraph. I'm like, I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
But maybe
people have been building
like,
houses for years.
What, women can't build houses? Like this is almost sexist, but
yeah.
Obviously it was like against their will.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
That would be what was implied with the term slavery.
Slavery, yeah. Let's see here.
By the way, there's plenty of mainstream religions that treat women like shit.
Amen.
Currently.
Amen.
But
really,
I
it's
digress.
really it's only a matter of time before more Grail Movement abuse ends up in the news. After all, it's a cult that's still active today, which is interesting. Let's see. Adolf Hitler. Here we go. In 1938, Adolf Hitler, who had gained enough power in Germany to take over the countries, annexed Austria, taking away land that was owned by Bernhardt and used for Grail Movement purposes. Hitler also banned all literature supporting the cult, including its main book, The Light of Truth. Bernhardt was arrested by the Nazis and exiled in the Saxony Mountains. He was forbidden to write anything else or even speak of the religion that he founded. He died in exile before the end of World War II. So it's weird that a cult would still be active today.
Why?
Well, I mean, like this guy, here, most of its members live outside of the United States, but there are active, in theory, there's active members in the States.
Where's Turdy live?
Turdy was Czech Republic.
Oh, okay.
Most of the followers of the
no vowels in the last name.
Turdy. Most of the followers of the Grail Movement are located in Europe. There are also sects in Africa, most notably Nigeria, Germany, France, and the Czech Republic, where most of the violent actions that have taken place in the name of the Grail Movement, as well as Great Britain, claim to have plenty of Grail cross-bearers. There are also a few thousand in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really gonna amp up the violence, the Eastern Bloc is a good place to do that.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard of these.
In the States, we fucking kill people all the time, but I mean,
well, I've never heard of this cult or this group. I've never heard anything about this, other than what
I think the only reason they've even been on the radar, because like once you started saying like this, kind of going into it, I remember this from doing research on World War II. So
okay.
And like Hitler was all about some occult, bro.
Right.
So there's
apparently just not this one.
Yeah, no, he was into his own thing, man.
Yeah.
He was into his own thing.
Well, the cult is based on a book written by Oscar Ernst Bernhardt, The Servant of Light. So he called himself Abdrusheen, Servant of the Light. He was the founder of the idea came to him while he was imprisoned on the Isle of Man. Where's the Isle of Man?
It's like off the coast of Great Britain.
Wow. What a name.
Yeah, dude. It's a very popular island, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Like a vacation spot or like
I mean, yeah, but it's also like an island of lore as well.
Oh.
Like there's like fucking folklore and legends and shit all that surround the Isle of Man.
Noted.
Just in case you're wondering.
He was imprisoned on the Isle of Man for 4 years simply for being a German citizen traveling to New York City during World War I. After his release, he wrote the first book of the cult's canon, which described his new belief system, centered around the idea of reincarnation, or, as he put it, living multiple Earth lives. He also claimed to have had visions of himself as Moses in the past life.
Okay.
Still, the whole thing with cults, man, like, where do you have to be in your life to, like...
Ask L. Ron Hubbard.
Fall for some of this shit?
I mean... Down and out.
Well,
nothing makes sense
really.
to you. Yeah. Like you can't get down with like mainstream fucking.
So you're like
religion.
This dude who thought he was Moses sounds okay. That makes sense to me,
dude. Man, all hats off. Like, all bets are off. Like, I can't talk shit anymore, man. Because fucking every other day there's something comes out that the CIA's like, oh yeah, we confirmed this. Like, oh yeah,
yeah, it's true.
Like so I'm not gonna go down that whole fucking route. But like, I literally at this point, like, I don't even know anymore. I'm just.
But the cult things are always like a doomsday thing, the end of the world, and then they're always wrong, and yet people still fucking follow them, or they mass suicide or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So most religious services use music to emphasize an idea. This Grail movement chose basically Beethoven, Mozart, and Handel. Sorry, I should know that one, but I don't.
Okay.
Nothing.
Handel.
Handel. Is that right? So, and this is the last thing I'll pretty much say about the Grail movement, because it's not really what the topic is. But I found it interesting though. So the Grail Movement's beliefs are an interesting blend of New Age ideas and basic run-of-the-mill Christianity. Adherents worship a standard Christian God, and their belief systems begin with the creation tale. God in the belief system is nothing but eternal light and radiates. Their theory of creation also contains various subdivisions of matter which branch out from the divine center, light, which is God. These include the examples of spheres of ethereal matter, thoughts, and the spheres of gross matter, earth. Humanity consists of what they call spirit germs and exists on the level of spiritual substantiality. Oof, that was a mouthful, sorry. Followers also believe, this is so random, followers also believe in gnomes, sprites, and other small creatures, as well as the idea of reincarnation.
Okay.
So
laugh all you want, but
I'm just
it's
random.
The Roman Catholic Church believes in angels, demons.
I'm just as ludicrous.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, well, no, but it's just so funny. They're talking about this guy who went through World War I and World II.
Yeah,
and then also they like gnomes and sprites and stuff.
Yeah, so he enjoyed reading his Bible and the Hobbit books at the same
time. And the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings all at the same time. Yeah, it's a completely reasonable church to build.
Right. So a really weird cult.
Okay.
I mean, I get why I've never heard of it because there's nothing really there that's
it's not
it's
not a big populace.
No wow fact. Well, that's true. I mean, but there's no like, holy shit, that's freaking crazy. I mean, they're just weird.
They're only on the news when shit goes wrong.
When shit goes south. That's right.
Yeah.
So getting back to our original story, the neighbor had no idea that he was living next door to a cult called the Grail Movement. In the House of Horrors were sisters Klara and Klara Mauerova. And Clara's little boys, I want to say it's Jakub, but it's Jakub. I know it looks like Jacob, but Czech Republic. We'll call him Jay. All right, who was 10 years old, and Andrzej, who was 8. Ondrej.
Okay.
After the sisters joined the cult 8 months earlier, the innocent boys were brutally beaten and tortured by Klara and the other cult members. When they weren't kept naked in cages, the boys were subjected to whippings, burned with cigarettes, and sexually abused. Under the orders of the leader, known only as the Doctor, Jakub and Andrzej also had parts of their skin sliced off, which was eaten by cannibal cult members. So I'll stop there for a second because
I feel like this sect of the cult took a hard turn.
Big time, which was, everything that I just kind of read earlier, I was like, man, it's weird. There's nothing really, it said that one time it said in some acts of violence, but I never could find anything else other than the women being, forced to build houses that was, considered wrong. I mean, weird, but not wrong. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden this, and I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What sect of this cult?
Yeah. Hard turn.
Real hard turn. And this guy, the Doctor, couldn't find much on him. Apparently he's one of the leaders of whatever. This is all in theory, according to these women. But so as far as the cannibalism goes, different stories said it differently, but essentially what I believe the boys had said was that their mother, mind you, this is their mom, so this is
mom and aunt, right?
Mom and aunt and friend or whatever,
or aunt if you're
auntie,
and friend.
They would literally basically fillet parts of his arm and make him eat it, and then of course they would also partake. I don't know what kind of cult has that kind of control that you could do that to your child, but that changes the severity of the Grail Movement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it did take a big turn.
Yeah.
Which is why I went back and read that, and I was like, there's nothing about this shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they, well, let me finish it and we'll discuss, I guess. Klara had installed a monitor in a cellar so she and other members could watch the abuse on her sons from the kitchen. Fucked. When interviewed by officers, Jakub and Andrzej revealed the depraved extent of abuse they suffered at the hands of the person they loved the most. My mother tied me up a lot, Andrzej said. In 2008, a court heard how relatives partially skinned Andrzej and even forced him to eat his own raw flesh. The sisters refused to say why they tortured the boys. The aim was to make the boys blindly serve their religious goals. State prosecutor Zuzana Zemera said. Sentencing the women, Judge Pavel Goth, judge's last name is Goth. Sorry.
I like how that's your fucking footnote on this whole thing.
But just funny.
That's like the fucking change. Like,
I'm a child. Okay. It's anyway. Andrzej, and I'm looking for anything like to keep my mind off the fact that what this story is actually about. Andrzej and
you picked it.
I did. Were repeatedly psychologically and physically tyrannized and held in locked rooms. Tyrannized, is it?
Sure.
Klara was...
We're just making up words. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
That one works. So this went on for, and I read it two different ways, a year, and then I read 6 months. But at the end of it, I kind of put two and two together, and people, of course, writing, whatever. But they make their own story up halfway, you know what I'm saying? But more than 6 months, we'll say, this went by, where they would literally starve the kids. They'd make them live in their own piss and shit. Like, they gagged the one boy for almost 6 months entirely. Mm-hmm. The level of abuse to anyone's child is fucked. But to your own child, being a dad, and I can't comprehend, like, how you could. I mean, I don't get it. Yeah. And if they're saying it's because of this cult, I don't get that even more.
Yeah, we've said this on quite a few episodes. When it comes to religion, if you're killing people because your God told you to, like, you're in
switch.
If God exists, he can kill people all by himself. He does not need your help. Like, he especially does not need your help to kill your own children.
That's right.
He does not need your help to buy an AK-47 and walk into a school and kill a whole bunch of kids. You know, I've never understood that. Hey, this being, he spent all his energy creating the universe and creating life and breathing consciousness into you and love into you, but he wants you to go kill people.
Right.
Like, you need to go kill people.
Oh, well, okay, for you, I'll do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, fucking change teams, dude.
Now that makes sense, you know. But, like, you know, so you'll see these Satanists, right? Which, whatever. But, you know, that's like, that's just like rooting for the ball in a sporting event. Like, I'm not rooting for either team. I'm just rooting for the ball.
Just the ball.
Yeah. I'm rooting for injury, or, you know,
the ref. I'm for the ref.
Yeah, I'm for the ref. Like that's why I come.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, so at least, like, if they're Satanists, like, okay, like, you know, we're trying to, like,
Satan.
Yeah, like, lash out against God. But I've never understood, like, any religion where they're like, no, we kill for our religion. The Crusades are a great choice. We are going to respect God by invading,
murdering
an area to take back a piece of land that we think God wants us to have. And we're going to kill everybody in our way.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So
put me in, Coach.
We should probably get one of history's greatest killers, Vlad the Impaler, and we're going to use him and start this whole crusade thing up again.
Let's start it over. That's
and
right.
Try it over. So no, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so. Well, the volley's pretty short on this one. Okay. Thank God, because I mean, and to be fair, they did go into a lot of details, but I think I've said enough. You get the gist of it.
I'm good.
Right. Which is very unlike me to hold back. Yeah. But hey,
is it maturity?
Possibly. Well, I think it's the fact that it's the mother, and for some reason that just shook me. Okay. Like, anytime any kid's hurt, it's horrible. But for some reason, anyway.
I'm not here to be your moral compass.
Here's for me, the worst fucking part of this. Sentencing the women, Judge
Goth.
Klara, the mom, was sentenced to 9 years in prison and was released in 2013. Katerina got 10 years, the sister. And then Barbara, I think was her name or whatever the fuck it was.
You know they called her Barb.
Barb. So Barb had, what's that? And I read it and I didn't write it down, but what's that? She looks young, like much younger, like her hair doesn't grow, whatever it is. She looked like a little girl. So she literally, when the police came or whatever, she acted like she was a lost 13-year-old and like got away and dipped town. Well, they ended up finding her, and it turns out she's like a 35-year-old, whatever, and she got 5 years. First of all, only 5 years, only 10 years, only 9 years.
Why did the aunt get 10 years and the mom got 9? The mom putting the kids in jeopardy like that seems like a much more heinous argument.
So the weird thing about the trial, and that's pretty much all this article said, but I've got most of it, I think, in my head. So the trial went something along the lines of Klara, right? Yeah, Klara, the mom, blamed everything on the sister. Said that I think she was the older sister, but she said that she was completely brainwashing me, completely controlling me, yada, 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 and basically threw her under the bus. And I'm only assuming because sympathy card or something. I don't really know. They didn't say why she got more, but basically Klara said she did it, and I'm the mom, and I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did this to my kid, And so the courts obviously fell for it. For me, it's way worse for the mother to allow this to happen. Yeah. I mean, you agree?
I mean, no, yeah.
The aunt is still fucked. This is your nephews. But
I agree, but my point is definitely like, well, first off, I mean, fucking justice system. Anyway,
Czech Republic in America, I would like to think that they would have gotten.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that this is the Czech Republic.
It's not right.
It's not in the States.
I mean, I don't know
because I figured I was like, dude, I feel like I would have heard about this shit. In the States.
Exactly, right. Like, you would have. We would have.
Yeah.
And they would have gotten a lot longer time.
You'd think.
I mean, you would hope.
Yeah.
But so the boys, neither of the boys died. Jakub and
thank God
and Andrzej, no, it's great, were placed in the care of family members. And at that point, I'm like, well, fuck that family. I don't know. Poor kids.
Well, but also, like, man, like, what kind of life are these kids dripping out after that? Like, well, you've just been tortured by the person that you love and have spent your whole life thinking is going to protect you. And I'm pretty sure that your fucking life compass is at least a little skewed at this point.
Yeah, talk about goth. Yeah. So I tried to search, I Googled
Q fever.
I did after you sent but no, like I Googled, Klara Mauerova's sons now, 2020, Klara Mauerova 2020. There's nothing. It just keeps going back to the same articles that I read, which is good. Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't have any answers as to how did the kids do. When she got out in 2013, did she change her name?
Did they move in?
Did they move back in?
Yeah.
Good God. It's pretty wild. Like she was like this super attractive, blonde-haired 31-year-old woman, very normal. Her kids are two really cute little blonde-haired boys, and you hear this horror story, and you're like, "What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
What kind of control did the doctor, whoever the fuck, have?" Or, and in the court, by the way, and I totally forgot to mention this, in the whole trial, not once was the cult mentioned.
Okay.
Not once.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Right. And so I'm going, okay, so is this woman just a straight up psychopath, or her sister and her and the friend, are they psychopaths? Well, obviously, but was there even anything to do with the cult, and why that cult? You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
That's an interesting angle, but I don't think so. I think that they were complicit. They're obviously complicit in the situation, but I feel like there's more to the story. Like.
And there's not much out there, which is really aggravating.
Well,
and so it leads us to have to do what we do and just come up with our own theories.
Then stuff like this would like be beaten into the fucking ground in the States, but in like Czech Republic, they're just like whatever. I'm not saying that like a whatever, but there's like other shit going on in the Czech Republic right now where this is not a conversation that makes the newspapers.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like I'm not, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, but like, you know, I'm pretty sure that they've been like dealing with like all sorts of shit for, you know, a fairly long
a good amount of time. Right.
And they're like, these two kids lived. Okay, fuck it. Like,
all right, so
we're going to count this as a win and move the fuck on.
Nobody died, right.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's what I would say.
9 years,
The
though.
doctor. Like, I want to know more about the doctor.
I know, man. I couldn't find hardly anything.
I feel like this is like the beginning of Dr. Satan.
Dr. Satan.
Yeah.
No,
but no. I mean,
I searched, you know, Klara Mauerova doctor, you know, the Grail Movement doctor, and
yeah, man.
There's nothing, man.
He's got the, like, I mean, how many doctors are there on the face of the planet? Like,
well, that was like his nickname, though. He wasn't an actual doctor.
How do you know that?
Well,
you don't know that.
It said they called him the doctor.
Well, yeah, they called him the doctor, but like, I mean, this whole story, like when you were telling it, like at the beginning, like, and once doctor got brought up, the only thing that got triggered in my brain was the Frankenstein's army, like all that shit that's going on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So, so I feel like this is like the mom and the aunt and Barb were scapegoats, man. I feel like there was some other heinous, like sinister shit going on, and probably from a high enough level in that area,
right,
that it could get like brushed under the carpet a little bit. They're probably like the doctor, whomever he is probably like fucking sitting there kicking the dog over the fact that anybody found out that this was connected to the Grail movement or the Grail cult, whatever the fuck it is.
Right. So hold on, I was just looking at one of these. The closest I got. This is interesting because I didn't really remember this. They claimed that they were following the instructions of the leader of the cult, a man known only as the Doctor. The Doctor would send instructions via text message outlining what he wanted them to do to the children. Police investigators were unable to track down or identify the Doctor and could make no connection to the Grail movement. Although several people were confirmed to be involved, mainly family members, they concluded that the network wasn't as big as the women claimed it to be.
Nah, man.
So
it is, man. Because, you know, in my opinion, this stuff, like, I feel like this stuff kind of goes on and we don't fucking hear about it because it's like, you know, it's like quicksand. Like, so when something falls, like everything just kind of disappears. Huh. And man, maybe I'm just like tainted by like the news of you know all the shit that goes on these days, but like I feel like whenever there's like a whiff of some shit like this, it's always like, oh man, here we go, dude. Jesus. Here we go. And you know, and like I'd love to live in that world where it's like, no, this is dude, you're fucking like, this is crazy. Like that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
No, man. Like I feel like the last like 6 months has been like every like horror story that you like thought was just bullshit, and then everybody's like, oh no, that shit's real now.
Oh, by the way,
by the way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know which one to think. It, you know, to me, I didn't read anything about this Holy Grail. No, sorry, not Holy Grail, the Grail movement. That other than tabloids being like the cannibalistic religious cult, but because of this one thing that happened, they're now called a cannibal, you know what I'm saying, cannibal cult.
I mean, I'm not hating on that. Like I feel like like what's the old saying, like, you know, it doesn't matter how many like bridges you build, you eat one person, you're not a bridge builder anymore, you're a cannibal.
You're a cannibal.
Yeah, like
I've not heard that.
Well, I kind of amended that for cannibalism. But
I got you.
I feel like the logic is sound with that.
No, it's valid. That makes total sense.
Yeah, like your only title is your last most heinous thing.
The worst thing you've done is what you're known for.
Like it's either your best accomplishment or your worst fucking thing. And you know, I mean, I guess that's the takeaway I'm at right now in life. I feel like that's where we are is you're known for like really like great, amazing things, or really horrible things, and then there's everybody else in the middle that's just like,
forgotten.
What the fuck is happening right now?
What is going on?
Like, yeah. So
you got to be on either side of this. You got to be like super extreme, otherwise you're just being.
Yeah. So I'm literally, I think we're like 6 months away from just like a weird like cage fight between like the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein and like Mother Teresa.
I was say who else is
or something like
Mother Teresa.
You know, like it's gonna be some like weird like, you know, God versus the devil
on
death match on pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I don't know, man.
It's a weird one, man, because I part of me goes, okay, so even if this doctor or the leader of this cult, whatever, had, because clearly there are cults where the leader does have some serious influence and control over these people. I mean, it's been, you don't drink the fucking juice.
The juice.
The juice. You don't drink the cup unless you're, you know, blindly following this fucking fool.
Well, yeah, so, or you don't know what's in the fucking cup.
Well, like or they straight up lie to you.
That's kind of the argument of Jonestown, anyway.
Right.
By the way, and he never drank his own Kool-Aid. I know. And sorry, not to digress in a weird cult conversation.
That's a suggestion, by the way.
Jonestown.
Yeah.
Or James? Is it Jamestown? Jonestown?
I think it's Jonestown.
Whatever. But did you hear the story? There's like one survivor from that. And it was the little old lady who fell asleep before morning mass, and she woke up dead. And everybody was dead, and she was just like, what the fuck happened?
Except, dude,
yeah, no, she was like alive. Like everybody else was dead. Everybody had drank the Kool-Aid and died while she was napping.
Oh, but I thought I don't even remember.
Jim Jones. Jonestown. So
yeah,
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. But did he die from the drinking the...
No, he refused to drink the Kool-Aid. So he had one of his followers drink the Kool-Aid and then shoot him. Because he didn't want to commit suicide.
Right. Jesus Christ. That's so fucked up.
I'm sorry. Like, I know there was a shit ton of people that died. And like they gave their kids the fucking Kool-Aid and everybody.
I've seen that picture. Yeah, it is fucking like, horrible.
Interesting that you chose this story over Jonestown, but
well, I liked this one because it was not well known.
Yeah, no,
and we've been doing some big heavy ones, and so I was like, this is.
I get that.
One, I immediately was shocked, but it was the fact that I've never heard of this Grail movement and this weird no-name cult was able to control this mom, the sister, and Barb. I'm like, I personally don't necessarily buy it. I think that Barb. I think Klara especially was already a few, screws loose. Like something wasn't right. And then obviously somebody found someone who was easily controllable possibly, and then but what's the purpose of having her torture her kids? Other than sadistic, well,
see if you can do it. Man.
Okay, right.
Like, I mean, that's the fucking end game. A lot of times in these situations, it seems like
how far can I get people to?
Yeah, like
fucking go?
These fucking people just like they get off on watching people dance in the fucking horrible shit. Like,
right.
There's a reason that people like. I mean, dude, like you told the story about like the. I don't remember what story it was. We think you were talking about like revenge shit with like the Nazis, and they did that. They had that whole thing where it was like they were playing chess.
Oh,
or was that on that show Hunters? That may have been on.
I did the two chicks that killed the Nazis, the sisters,
right?
The
but
Nazi killers.
Didn't they go hunting for people?
Yeah.
I
did a Nazi Hunter
episode.
Yeah,
but no, like they that whole story broke because like the guy was like he found out his aunt who had been to like all these places was like this high level Nazi, and they would do this like
oh shit,
they would do this like horrible shit, man.
Yeah, that's not in the episode I did. Oh. Now I'm like, what the fuck's that about? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, no, dude, you told a story about some
oh boy,
guy that found out that his aunt was like,
oh dude, yes, okay, so it was in that episode of Hunters, but yeah, I did, and she took the whole dinner party. They went out and they shot people. They didn't play chess in my story. All they did was they in the Hunter.
That was in the Hunters episode.
We're getting confused, but yeah, in mine they just lined them up and
shot them.
Target practice. Yeah. like as a party. But
Right.
yeah, that episode of Hunters is fucked.
But there's like tons of stuff like that, like, and it's like cults, but it's also like dictatorships and
Right.
stuff like that, where it's like they get like the 12-year-old kids. It's always around the same age, man. It's like between 8 and 12 or 8 and 14.
Oof.
And they kind of like try to indoctrinate them into this thing, and it's
Yeah.
like they give them like the idea of power and, you know, the strength.
Dehumanize,
And
like, the
one of
other-
the things that they fucking do first is they always have those kids kill their parents,
Right.
or, you know, and do it in like some real public way, so that, you know, there's less chance that they're fucking gonna turn back on them and like all this stuff. But like it's always kind
Jesus.
of like one of those things where, like, you know, you break down the personality, and then once
Right.
you break it down, then you rewrite it in your own kind of fucking light, or your own fucking insanity. And
Yeah, I mean, I get you're probably right. It probably was. Well, most cult leaders, I'm using
Yeah.
quotes here, are probably doing it for fucking pleasure, like personal, you know,
Yeah.
fucking whatever.
but we've also had that conversation. You said that the Grail cult
Grail Movement.
was what the fuck ever. It's a cult. I'm just gonna call it a cult.
It's a movement.
It's a movement. Yeah, I got a movement for
I
you.
got a movement.
Yeah. But, you know, like, this is, I mean, you said there was a version of Christianity with sprites and gnomes. And
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
But, I mean, like, let's have the conversation about, you know, if you take Christian religion and you say, okay, you know, eat the body and the blood. There you go, buddy.
There's some
Well,
cannibalism.
well, while you're enjoying a little piece of your own forearm, we're going to partake as well. You know?
Right.
So, like, I mean, I can, like, this is where it gets weird, dude. Like,
Yeah.
shit spirals because people misinterpret conversations
Right.
from a book 2,000 years ago.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of information on this doctor or the cult itself, and so we're left going, okay, is she batshit crazy? Yes, but was she actually being controlled?
I you know what, dude? I tend to fucking say that she was.
Okay.
I think the doctor is a real figure, like a fucking real person, building soldiers for his movement.
Well, I would agree. At the end of I mean, I personally think that she was an easy target because she was already fucked. Like, something was wrong with her life. Even though in the pictures it looks all hunky-dory, but to be that susceptible or to be able to do that to your kids, there's got to be something wrong with you in my head.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't think a cult leader has that much strength, unless they're doping them up.
Or you're scared of God.
Or you're scared of God. I mean, that's pretty intense. I don't
we
have that kind of fear. But
we have done some very great and terrible things based on
because
God,
of religion, right?
You know, and
Like every
leaders have used that,
Yeah.
you know, and exploited humanity because of that. It's
Right.
not. I mean, this is not a new page in a book that
It's true.
anyone used. They may have, you know, they may have put a comma in a different place, or
Right,
you know,
right.
whatever. But this is an old story, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
you know,
true. Yeah, this one just hit home, I guess, because it's your own kids, you know, and it just
Don't read into any of the like survivor tales of, you know, World War II. Like, you know, there's
some brutal shit.
a lot of shit that people had to do to their kids in World War II, or saw happen with their kids, and they had to kind of co-sign and shut the fuck up and sit back in the corner.
Oh God,
I'm not
Nope.
good for it. I'd been dead like 10
I'd have
seconds.
been so dead.
I'm like, no, dude, you're like, we're gonna go, we're gonna go here, bud.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like you cannot brainwash me enough to
No.
do that to my child. And every single like article, every YouTube video, I didn't really see any podcasts, but every single one of them, it was cannibal, you know, and that was just a little teeny bit. That part didn't, I mean, it was horrific. It bothered me. Don't get me wrong, but that part didn't even bother me as much as the length of abuse, like the how long it went on, and watching your kid from the kitchen, like that, for me, whatever reason, fucked my head up more than, you know, taking some skin.
So okay, actually, that's a part of the story that makes me believe that this was a bigger story.
Yeah.
Is that the mom and the aunt and Barb sat in the kitchen and watched the kids get tortured?
Like they wait. Oh,
Like, that's not a piece of the story that you just make up.
right.
that stems from. I mean, they could have
waiting for direction. Well,
they could, or they could have toned it down.
Yeah, right.
But the fact of the matter is, like, they're not just gonna make up this situation.
No, they're not. I mean, dude, there was sexual abuse, and I'm going, okay, Jesus, like, it's your fucking kids, man.
Yeah. So,
anywho, Klara Mauerova is, I don't know. I mean, 2013, I think I said that she got out of jail. Yeah. That bitch just walking around.
We don't know about that.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
We don't know about that.
I can't imagine if somebody found out who she was, that
it's different.
She was walking around
maybe
in the Czech Republic. I imagine that.
I really enjoy that you brought us an active cult with 1,000 some odd members
in
the United States. 2020 is getting all the way live, bro.
Well, for the record, everything that I read about it's not a cult, it's a movement.
They keep fucking saying movement.
That's literally what they kept saying. They're called the Grail Movement. We're not a cult, is what they say. But every article says you're a fucking cannibal cult. So everything I read about them, they're like, we have nothing to do with that case. They completely deny. We're a movement about true enlightenment and law and sprites and gnomes and shit. Yeah. But anyway, it was a weird one, but dude, it was a dark one, but it was a weird one. And
like fucking next week they're gonna be like, science confirms the sprites and gnomes and shit.
Well, you sent me the one meme. It was like, look, they found a fairy skeleton.
Yeah, and I was like, I kind of baited you with that because I was like, here we go, man.
He's gonna do a fucking topic.
Here's another one. The fucking Atacama mummy.
And I'll be honest with you, if you didn't think I fucking Googled that shit, and there was not a topic there really, so
no, I didn't.
Not one that I could not I couldn't bring myself to doing another topic on fairies and shit because I was like, the torture. Like your eyes alone, I was like, dude, I can't do it for an hour.
A Zoom episode because of you can.
I can't be in the same room.
You just shut me off and just do the episode.
Oh shit!
But no, I mean, with this one, man, I feel like this is a bigger story that kind of got swept under.
You're probably right.
Because there's just little details, man. There's just like little, like I can see one person being insane enough to, be like, I'm gonna cut your skin and I'm gonna make you fucking eat it. Like, like sacrifices are usually like kind of like quick.
Right.
It's not like we're gonna torture you for a year.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna, and you're a family member.
And
and like somebody's paying the bills.
Yeah.
Somebody's, keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
Somebody's feeding the family.
Somebody's working while these ladies sit there and torture these kids.
Yeah. Like, so there's a lot of pieces of this puzzle that were not. This is what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
The way you solve cases is I have no interest in doing this. I'm not an investigative reporter.
We're going to Czech Republic.
And in case anyone missed it at the beginning, these are just stories. Like, we don't have any fucking expertise, but I'm just telling you, like, there's a lot more to this story than just 3 crazy ladies in the fucking basement with a monitor.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, the length of time and the things that they did, it seems like they were taking instructions.
Yeah, because I
get that.
So let's play this forward. Okay, let's say one of them, the mom or the aunt or Barb, whomever,
right,
is the ringleader. Oh, please tell me it was Barb. Please tell me it was the little girl,
13-year-old,
that 13-year-old girl that looked like
35-year-old
looked like she was 13. She's really the
ringleader.
All right,
ladies.
Yeah, she's the doctor.
That was my fucking 13-year-old girl impression, by the way. Ladies.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Fucking lollipop.
Yeah. So. Let's say one of them is like that fucking crazy. How do you convince the other 2 that they're going to lock these kids up in the basement and do this to them? Like, if you're the aunt and it's the mother that's saying this, you're going to be like, no, like, we're going to go get you some help.
Yeah.
Like, first off, we're going to stop at Dunkin' Donuts. We're going to get you a hot black cup of coffee. We're going to calm you the fuck down a little bit. Then we're going to take your ass to a fucking institution and start working through some of the stuff that you need clarity on.
Yeah. How are all three of them on board?
If it's the aunt, if it's the older sister, I don't give a shit. If it's the older sister and she comes to you with, I'm going to do this to your two sons, and you're the mother, and then Barb just wanders in off the street.
Hey, can I come?
Yeah, I'm down. Like part of a fucking macrame group or some shit. But like, you know, like what? Like, you don't spiral that kind of insanity.
No.
Like, in that way, like, you know, I don't know. Like, there's so many like pieces of this puzzle that I feel like,
and unfortunately,
answered.
and this is one of those that there's not enough information. So, and I know it's okay. We're never gonna know, and you're like, I don't give a fuck.
No,
but,
I mean,
but
to me, I would if anyone were so inclined, who's paying the bills? Who's paying the bills at the house? And if the house is paid off, who paid off the house? Okay,
right.
There's still bills that have to get paid. There's still somebody that was bringing them food.
Yeah,
it's just there's ways to go about like figuring this out, like. You know, because those are at least, you know, accomplices to this behavior.
Yeah. Well, you're probably right.
Where's the dad? You know, where's the dad in this situation?
Yeah. I don't know if I read anything about the dad or not.
Was he a doctor?
Oh, by the way, yeah.
Was he? Did he?
Oh, by the way, I left that part out. Yeah, that's right. Dad's the doctor.
Dad's the doctor.
No, yeah, my
Satan.
My A-list researching skills did not. I don't remember anything about the dad actually. No. But again, so the thing about this,
I mean, he could very well be dead. Like, I'm not.
The one thing about this topic is I started to do it, and I think it's why I stopped initially, is because there wasn't a lot about it. So there wasn't like a backstory. There wasn't, you know what I mean? It was just, this is something that happened, and, you know, woman ate son. You know, that's like, that was the headliner. And I'm like, of course I'm going to click on that.
Yeah.
And then I read it and I was like, well, this is actually interesting. Oh, there's a cult involved. Okay. Yeah. And so, but I could never get a ton of information. Yeah.
Well, that means they're a well-organized cult.
Right.
I mean, movement. Yeah.
Movement. Not fucking cult.
All right. Like,
oh, Jesus.
But here's I guess we can kind of digress from there. Like, like obviously there's a whole lot of questions that we can't answer. Right. So I'm not going to continue to go around the circle.
Yeah.
But these are questions that I feel like even in the Czech Republic, they're questions that would have been asked by someone at some point,
like a police officer,
investigator,
detective,
the attorney,
right?
Like, especially if you're trying to get your client off. Like, you're looking for someone to pass the blame to.
Yeah, hey, she was, you know.
Right? So, but the fact that never came up in
court,
the proceedings.
Yep.
Didn't sound like they tried to go for insanity, or if that's even an option in the Czech Republic. I don't fucking know. They might just be like, fuck you, we don't care.
You're getting 9 years.
But there's more. When there's questions like this, I feel like that always means there's more to the story.
Right. No, you're probably right. And we'll never know. Yeah, and yeah. I just wish that she had gotten way more time.
Yeah.
You know, and like, she should not be allowed to walk around on this fucking earth with those kids.
No.
Like, imagine those kids the day, like, okay, mom's getting out today.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. What a weird, like, do we want to see her? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's a mind fuck.
It's a mind fuck. And, like, there's no real, like, that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, yeah, they may not have killed, the two kids might have lived, but, like,
what kind of quality
of life comes out of the other end of it, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of these, like, people who are, like, survivors of these ghastly, horrific things. And you're like, yeah, but their body lived.
Yeah. But mentally, they're fucked.
But, like, are they just a walking corpse at this point?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's sad as hell. I mean, it's.
You did the story on those kids that fucking got kidnapped, and they were like kidnapped for like a day. Yeah. And they're all still fucked up.
And they were literally fucked. Like,
it's like one day. These kids are locked up for on the outside of a year.
Yeah, and these kids were truly tortured. Those kids were just like left with
they didn't get a Gatorade and it was hot.
Yeah, it was really hot. That's fucked up.
Sorry, but I mean, it's a valid statement.
I mean, like, could I get a Powerade down here?
Yeah, like, I mean, they would have died. I'm not saying they wouldn't have.
No, the hole closed in. They would have died.
They would have died. I'm not saying
Thanks,
there wasn't.
although technically that story took a turn because you blamed the fucking
Dude, he was in it. He was in on it, man. They knew how to get him.
I know. We don't have to go back there.
But
check out the Child Chilla kidnapping. It's awesome.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, there's always more, man.
There's always more.
There's always more to this fucking story. If you've got a question, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have the questions, then, you know, we probably wouldn't be doing a story on it.
That's right. Then it wouldn't be worth doing it. Yeah, that's right.
So
I don't know why I picked this one. It was different, I guess. That's why. And I hadn't heard of it.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean, some of these.
And I knew it would spark a decent conversation because there was not a lot of answers.
Well, cults in general, man, it's fucking tricky territory, dude. Because like those, like I said earlier, man, a lot of fucking horrible shit has been done in the name of religion, bro.
Yeah, man, I tell you, and I almost did the what is it, the solar
the
Knights of the Solar Temple.
Knights of the Solar Temple. What's the one with the
I think it's Knights of the Solar Temple.
Which one's the one where they all castrated themselves?
Oh, jeez.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some. Whew.
Yeah.
But
and that was their get on the spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how we get on the spaceship.
This is the Jesus ship.
Jesus ship.
Jesus ship. All right. Well, if you're a member of the Grail Movement,
please don't come
in the United States.
Please don't.
We're not calling you a cult. You're a fucking cult.
Well, yeah. Well.
And this is Shep. And
now here's what I'll say. Like, if you're like completely, you know, just
somebody's gonna fucking leave a comment.
Benevolent.
You know,
if you're a benevolent soul and you are just this is your religion and that you know you don't want to hurt a fly and you're just genuinely a good person, cool. You know.
I'm glad the doctor was good for you.
Yeah, or if you're one of those people that are out there and you're torturing children in a basement, I hope you get the worst form of dick cancer.
The worst.
The worst form of dick cancer. I hope it's contagious dick cancer.
Or vagina cancer.
Yes.
If you're a female.
Yeah. I hope it eats you to the point that your bones fall out your nostrils. But I think that's the first time I've ever advocated cancer.
I think it was.
It's
valid.
There are a lot of serial killers, by the way, who have died of cancer.
Yeah.
That's like to me that like you want to have a conversation about the proof of God and judgment right there. Like, give all the serial killers cancer, man.
Yep. And the true fans of serial killers, like there was a post page from Reverie True Crime. What up, Paige? But there was somebody who was literally talking about like a survivor of Ted Bundy. They were she
talking shit about him.
No, they were like, so was he as handsome like in person? And it's like, what the fuck? Like she almost and like it started this whole thing about there are true fans of serial killers. Yeah. Like we're not fans of these fuckers. Like if you got a Ted Bundy tattoo, guess what? You're a douche. Yeah. Like and
that
I think
fish
the fish band.
Yeah.
Like, well, and I think my comment was all true actual fans of serial killers should actually be locked in a cell with a serial killer. You know, like fucking whatever.
Yeah. So
there's some fucked. Yeah. But anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place.
No. I mean, I get it. Like, and, you know, it's an equal stance in my opinion. Like, I don't fucking agree.
No.
With
and Klara whatever the fuck. Klara, the sister, and Barb can rot in hell.
The fucking Barb part of the story is.
Barb.
There's more to the Barb story.
There was a little bit more to Barb's story, but there wasn't a lot documented that I could find. Yeah. So
she's a fucking gnome or a sprite.
She's
or
the
fairy.
Sprite.
Like,
that's right.
They're like, oh, we found one.
That would have been cool.
We found one. She's put her in the basement with the kids.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, good shit.
End of episode.
Good shit.
Good shit.
Yeah, man.
You're not bad, right? All right, cool. Later.